Good morning, everyone. This morning we're continuing with Chapter 36 from Merging with Śiva, entitled Karma, the Natural Law, from the Master Course 1967 edition and more recent sources. Lesson 249, the effect of self-realization. I am the master of my fate. This is how you become the master of your fate and the ruler of your own destiny. Through meditation, you can bring everything to the now. What happens when all the karma of all my past lives is worked out and I finally bring myself up to the now? Then what happens, you may ask? You would truly be an artisan, an absolute expert at working out karma in the mental and spiritual spheres. Try again. You would truly be an artisan, an absolute expert at working out karma in the mental and spiritual spheres, and could begin to help working out karma for other people. Karma is transferable. One can take on some of the karma of other people, work it out for them, and make their burden a little easier for them. After the realization of the self, Paraśiva, the forces of dharma and previous karma still exist, but through the force of the realization of God, much of the impending impact of karma has dwindled, and it is faced differently, treated differently. Prior to the experience of realization, karmas were dealt with in individual increments. After realization, the sum total is seen. The spiritual destiny is realized. The karma and dharma and the future manufacturing of karma are viewed from within out as a totality. One does not have the experience of realizing the self until all of his karma is in a state of resolve. This means that the action and reaction patterns were balanced out, one against the other, through his ability to be steadfast in his yoga, brahmacharya, and previous superconscious insights which have revealed the true nature of himself. When this begins to occur in him, he actually sees that man is not man, man is the self, God, for his karma and the forces of his dharma have begun to become transparent to him. Through the power of his realization, the karma is created and simultaneously dissolved. This occurs for the one who lives in the timeless state of consciousness. If one were to realize the self each day, he would live his life like riding his karma on the surface of water. The intensity of the self is so strong that action and reaction dissolve, just as the water surface clears immediately when you remove your finger from having written or made designs upon it. And my commentary. What is needed to be accomplished before moksha can be attained? What generally comes to mind is realization of the self, Paraśiva. In the lesson just read, Gurudeva is bringing in two additional aspects of moksha, which are karma and dharma. There is a concise statement of this threefold explanation of moksha in Dancing with Shiva, Shloka 30. Moksha comes when earthly karma has been resolved, dharma well performed, and God fully realized. Each soul must have performed well through many lives the Varna Dharmas or four castes, and lived through life's varied experiences in order to not be pulled back to physical birth by a deed left undone. All souls are destined to achieve moksha, but not necessarily in this life. Hindus know this and do not delude themselves that this life is the last. While seeking and attaining profound realizations, they know there is much to be done in fulfilling life's other goals. Dharma, righteousness, artha, wealth, and kama, pleasure. Old souls renounce worldly ambitions and take up sannyasa in quest of Paraśiva, even at a young age. So that's what I call the complete definition of moksha, or Gurudeva's threefold definition of moksha. He also has a twofold one. But this one includes realization, fulfilling dharma, and resolving karma. A second comment answers this question. Since every action creates a reaction to be faced in the future, how can you ever not be bound by reactions that have yet to be experienced? Have you ever thought about that? You're always acting, so how can you reach a stage where there's no reactions coming back to you? Because every day you act. So Gurudeva gave us the answer. If one were to realize the self each day, he would live his life like riding his karma on the surface of water. The intensity of the self is so strong that action and reaction dissolve, just as the water surface clears immediately when you remove your finger from having written or made designs upon it. So the answer to that dilemma of how you can avoid future reactions, because you're always acting, is the reaction comes immediately after the action. And it's all in your mind. So that's how you get around that one. And lesson 250, the state of resolve. When you hear the high-pitched sound E in your head, your karma and your dharma are at that moment well balanced in this life. This is reassuring to know, as is the fact that if you persist in this state for an exceedingly long period of time, you would come into the realization of the experience of God. However, as you doubtless have already experienced, distractions you have set into motion teasingly bring awareness into another area, and almost without your knowing it, the high-pitched E sound has faded and a thought has taken its place. When you are in a state of resolve, and resolve is the key word here, this means you have resolved the major karmas of conflict, good fortune, and all the emotions arise, both generated through understanding the awakened philosophies by the practice of yoga and the results obtained. Then the karmas of the head chakra begin to unfold, resulting in these sublime feelings. These karmas are only experienced after many Paraśiva experiences, but they are felt before as a blissful impending future. It is from these karmas the word bliss derives. Only beyond the beyond the beyond, within the vastness, within the heart and core of the universes, when space turns to spacelessness, time stops, and Maya's endless cycles are no more, are there no more karmas. Maya's endless cycle of creation, preservation, and dissolution are karmas in the manifold creations of this process. And my commentary. The October Shum Mamsani has excellent material on the experience of the high E and Paraśiva through the Shum language. It reads Makaif, Kaif, E Kaif, and Im Kaif. And then Gurudeva's explanation. Here we have the straight path, the Sanmarga, which has been brought to earth on the garden island of Kauai. Sanmarga, the straight path to God, has been named the Sanmarga Sanctuary. In this sanctuary, each one expresses his or her truth as seen at that particular place on the path of Sanmarga, the path to Im Kaif, the realization of eternal Paraśiva. Im Kaif is not the name of the ultimate state. It names the eradication of the name, which names the brink of the absolute, of the ultimate state. Because in the Shum language, Im means no. Im Kaif means no awareness, aware of itself. Elimination of, the perpetuation of, and is the fulfillment of everything. The very nature of the construction of this most important word in the Shum language tells us that which is absolute reality cannot bear a name. Im Kaif is the intense state of I Kaif, when awareness withdraws all energies from all bodies into a peak experience. Awareness's elimination of itself. The experience of Im Kaif may be brief. Im Kaif is where time stops. Im Kaif does not name what is found from the experience, it only names the entrance, what happens to Kaif. And then Gurudeva gives us the definitions. Makaif, the philosophy of the inner path of enlightenment found within the vocabulary and structure of the Shum language. Shum and Chief delineate the inner path to the absolute reality, Paraśiva. The collage, Makaif, opens the area of the mind that makes the Shum language easy to learn by drawing forth insights from the superconscious. And then we have Kaif, I-Kaif, and Im-Kaif. So I'll skip Kaif because we all know it's just awareness, aware of itself. But the basic idea is Kaif leads to I-Kaif, leads to Im-Kaif. It's a very simple way of describing the entire meditation goal. First we experience Kaif, then I-Kaif, then Im-Kaif. Easy to remember, and that idea is called Makaif philosophy. So I-Kaif is the one we're focusing on. A state between Kaif and Im-Kaif, when we only hear the nada or I, and we are totally aware of it with no distractions. This is called I-Kaif. In other words, when we're kind of hearing it and not hearing it, hearing it and not hearing it, doesn't qualify as I-Kaif. When we are totally aware of it with no distractions, this is called I-Kaif. The state of consciousness when only the nada is heard and awareness is not conscious of another sound. A high tone within the head that is often heard, which has the sound of I. This state comes after we experience prolonged periods of Kaif. Oh, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.